up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Lev Game, episode 147. You got to do the count, Herman. The count. Who are you?
I'm sorry. 147.
This is the average man's perspective on football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is actually I'm gonna mix it up. Make sure we get Mark's thing there. Mark, say what's up, Mark.
Good evening.
And me, I'm 56 years old. Damn. I'm sorry.
Next up, we got Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us.
Brian got a little small delay.
Okay, I thought it was me.
Good thing we did get Mark in first. The soundboard acting up now. And last but never least, we got Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
And we got a special guest tonight, straight from Darian's corner. We got Darian in the house. Say what up, Darian.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
Welcome, Darren. Welcome.
So we hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Hope you got time to chill with your family and exchange good gifts and all that nonsense and ate real good. We had some good games this past week. Who was hosting tonight, Herman? You hosting tonight?
Yep, I'm hosting.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. You can catch us on Facebook and our Facebook group, The Layer Game, on X at The Layer Game 3, and on Instagram at The Official The Layer Game.
We are not on X. We are on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know what X is. It's still called
Twitter. It's called X now, sir. X.
Yeah, just like you're the producer, and you have to ask every time who's hosting.
He told me. Look, he told me before the show started.
Man, we're gonna get a what do you win? Some type of Emmy or something, boy. I'll tell you on this show.
Let me tell you. They told me before the show started, but you know I got struck by lightning at one time. My memory bad. I can't.
Okay, that's not you. So what is the group, okay?
Wow.
Herman, please stir this back on his course, please.
Oh man.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're going to go through some news stories of the week, and we're going to hot topics. We're going to review last week's games, and we're going to get into this week's games. We get closer and closer to the playoffs, so these games are coming down, and they're starting to get a little critical. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, and I'll throw the first news story to Mark. Mark, go ahead and read your news story.
My news story is the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco, completes NFL phenomenon not seen before in league history. The 2023 Browns are the first team to win at least 10 games in a season with 4 different quarterbacks, each earning at least 1 win. Since quarterbacks starts were first tracked beginning in 1950. And no, Marcus, I wasn't born then.
Wow.
This is incredible to me that Flacco's only been there a couple of months, and he's pretty much outplayed Deshaun Watson since he's been there.
It hasn't even been a couple of months. It's been what 1 month?
It's been like 5.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy, isn't it, Brian?
Isn't it something? Shut up, bro.
Paid all that money.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, why don't you go ahead and read your news story?
Why did Mark get to go first? I'm confused as to why.
Just keep it moving, would you?
I just want to know why.
There goes that Emmy for that production, boy. He knows everything that's going on in the show.
Tommy Cutlets is heading to the bench. New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll announced Wednesday that veteran Tyrod Taylor will start Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams. Undrafted rookie Tommy DeVito will return to the backup role. He earned the right to start this game, the coach said of Taylor. Daboll benched DeVito at the halftime of the Giants' Week 16 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in favor of Taylor. The rookie completed 9 of 16 passes for 55 yards through 2 quarters. The veteran QB's first 3 plays were handoffs to Saquon Barkley on a short scoring drive to get Big Boo back into the game.
We're not gonna address it, Brian.
No. Herman, he's a coach in the NFC East. I really need to know, Marcus. What is that coach's name?
I know you're not talking.
I am talking. I'm absolutely talking.
Look, on this show we mess up names. We mess up names on this show. Okay?
No, you mess up names on this show.
Severely. What is his name? Do you really know his name?
His name is Brian. Okay? That's his name.
Brian what?
You got it right on the
Have you
rundown.
not watched the Giants Washington game? Have you not heard them call his name a
I don't
million
know.
times?
He's not the team I
He
watch
was
on
only
the regular.
the coach of the year last year.
Look, sir, this is not the spirit of Christmas that you okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm being bullied
You
right now.
are right. I'm gonna turn a new leaf next year. But this year I'm petty. What's that dude's name?
His name is Brian Dable.
Okay.
Thank you. It's literally on the rundown correctly.
Oh.
You just wanted to throw that
Oh,
R in
God.
there. I don't know why. All right, let me read my
I think
news
he was saying
story.
Harbaugh
Okay.
at first.
Okay.
The third
Green
brother.
Bay. All right. Excuse me. Wait a minute. I think something happened with my story. Anyway, Jair Alexander's strange season has taken another turn. 3 days after he anointed himself as the Green Bay Packers captain and then made what Coach Matt LaFleur called a big mistake by nearly botching the call after winning the coin toss, the team suspended him for 1 game. He's been placed on the reserve/suspended list Wednesday for what the team called conduct detrimental to the team. So this fool decided to go out there, and he appointed himself as a captain and decided to go out there to the coin toss because he's from Charlotte when he was out there playing the Panthers. That's kind of wild.
Well, then I always mess up the call. What kills me is you think they got coaches or people doing every other thing on the sideline, watching what's going on. Ain't nobody watching who goes out there to do the.
Nah,
I
it's the captain.
think
It's
since
what the
Jair,
captain's
he's
job
like
is.
one of their best players, I think he probably just do whatever he want anyway on the sideline.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the points if you appoint, if you have captains.
Well, apparently,
That's what
I think he talked to his other teammates about it too, because they basically didn't. You know how you see, we supposed to go out there and you see somebody out that's not supposed to be out there. You're looking like, what are you doing here? They didn't do that.
you were.
Yeah.
They just went along with it.
They just
so.
went right. Right.
Coach, he's out there. My turn.
All right, we're gonna roll in Brian's story, which is gonna roll us right into our first hot topic. So go ahead, Brian.
All right. The Jarrett Stidham era has begun in Denver as coach Sean Payton benches Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. The Broncos still mathematically have a slim 14% chance to make the playoffs. Wilson will count for $35.4 million next year if Denver chooses to keep him.
So that basically runs us into our top hot topic, and that is that the Denver Browns, like I said, they've benched Russell Wilson for Jarrett Stidham. Is this the end of the marriage between Peyton and Wilson? And what team could possibly be willing to trade for Russell Wilson with that big of a number? Now, just some context to it. Like Brian said, he'll count $34 million against the cap, which is a good number for a starting quarterback in the league now, especially the caliber, I'm going to say, of Russell Wilson. If he's cut, his dead cap number goes up to $85 million, which is basically a third of the cap, which no team could ever possibly afford to eat a cap number like that. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea. Anybody want to volunteer to go first on this one? Nope.
I'll definitely say the
Barry?
marriage is over. I mean, you can't bench your franchise quarterback. You can't bench him, berate him on the sideline, put in a fourth round rookie drafted or second round quarterback, and then think that you're actually gonna be able to salvage that at some point. So, I mean, as far as teams, I think to trade for him, I mean, it'll have to be somebody who has a quarterback going out the door and has a lot of cap space. Because I mean, not only is the cap hit $80 million, but it stays over 50 for the 3 years after that. So at some point, at no point is that number ever going to go down. So it's going to have to be somebody maybe like the Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons, somebody who doesn't really have a surefire quarterback. But I can't think of any GM that would really want to take on that contract, especially if Russell was going to be 36, 37 years old. So
Russ is that?
Mark.
He's 35, yeah.
Yeah,
Mark,
I mean,
what you
I think he's on his way out, but you don't want to risk paying him a guaranteed contract, so you don't want to play him because he might run the risk of getting hurt. Yeah, he's on his way out the door. As far as a team that would take him, Well, you got a couple of teams that are going to be in quarterback need, but like you said, who's going to want to inherit that contract, and who can afford the salary cap? Like you said, Atlanta was probably be a possibility. Carolina could possibly, maybe.
But
Didn't they
then
just
again,
draft
would they
top
move off
quarterback?
of their number one overall pick?
Well, yeah. Well, the only reason I say that is basically to help him out, as far as coach. But he'll probably be the reserve, the backup. To be honest with you, in there. But as far as somebody taking a risk on starting them, I don't know. I think we might have seen the last of a starting Russell Wilson. But yeah, I'm not taking a contract if I was a GM.
Yeah, so I think we agree that the marriage is definitely over. When you have your coach berating a veteran quarterback like that on the sideline during a game on national TV like that, that's just not going to survive because me and Darian were talking about this earlier. He's not your guy. He's not Sean Payton's guy, and we all know the head coaches want to be married to the quarterbacks, and I don't think that Payton really wants Russell Wilson. It kind of been, I feel like maybe from the start, it just didn't seem like that was a good marriage. They got new ownership now. They're willing to, bite the bullet, I guess, to get rid of him because Sean's not going anywhere. They did just get him, but they can't get rid of him and take that huge salary cap hit. They just no team ever survive that. Like that is crazy. One team possibly that could think about maybe looking at Russell Wilson because they're supposed to have a lot of cap space. Chicago, and maybe you could use Chicago to maybe help to mentor
Justin
to get Chicago
Justin Fields.
Maybe you could do that. It's a bad year for them to try to dump Russell Wilson with this quarterback class coming out because it's a lot of top quarterbacks coming out in this draft class, and this just doesn't seem like the year to try to dump Russell Wilson. But this is going to be interesting how this plays out. Definitely going to be very interesting. But yeah, I think the marriage is also over too, and I'm thinking possibly Chicago. The Raiders definitely don't have a quarterback. I think they got a good amount of cap space too, coming up, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that could bring some, it could bring something to the Raiders. I don't know, but yeah, Marcus.
They have a number one receiver at least.
Yeah, they do have a number one receiver too.
Yeah, the marriage is definitely over for the reason you guys just stated. You on the sideline, berating your star quarterback who's been in this league for a while, who's been in 2 Super Bowls and won a Super Bowl, was considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a while there, at least top 5. If you be talking to the homeboy like that, I don't know. I don't feel like I don't think Tom Brady would have took that. Or,
a lot of quarterbacks would have took it. I'll tell you that
and Aaron Rodgers definitely wouldn't have took that. It would have been some pushback right there on the sideline from a lot of quarterbacks if you're gonna talk to them like that. And it's just and I don't think Peyton would have ever talked to Drew Brees like that. So yeah, I think the marriage is over now. As far as so break this down to me. What can they can't just let him go? How much does that hit? They let him go?
No, that's where the money is 80-50-50.
That's yeah.
And so what happens if they trade him? Who picks it? The team trade who picks up all that stuff?
I think it splits half, doesn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It's more manageable.
Yeah. I think the problem where they screwed themselves is he was 2 years remaining on a $35 million deal, and then they signed him to a 4-year deal that was $50 million a year. So basically, he signed at 34 years old for a 6-year contract, basically until he's 40.
Yeah.
So that's where they screwed themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Herman, there's a lot of quarterbacks coming out in this draft class. This is probably not a good time. I'd much rather take my chances on one of these quarterbacks come out of the draft class and pay them next to nothing, for 3 or 4 years, so to take it on whatever you got to pay Russ. But I mean, as far as what team, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of teams probably gonna need a quarterback next year. I mean, could be anybody.
Kirk
I was
Cousins
saying
is
anybody,
going to be a free agent.
anybody that doesn't have Burrow, Mahomes, or Josh Allen, or
Dak.
one of those,
Dak. Or Dak.
or Dak. I mean, everybody knows Dak ain't going away. Anybody doesn't have those. Any other team doesn't have those quarterbacks. Then
You think Washington would be in play?
I mean, it could be. They got a lot of money in the salary cap, but I think that'd be a bad move. I think that'd be a bad move. I mean, yeah, I think I'd rather they stick with Jacoby Brissett than take on that money from Russ. I got much love for Russ, but hey, that time he's like I said, he's old.
You could draft one of these quarterbacks coming out and have Russ there to kind of mentor him under Eric Bieniemy. That might be a route.
I don't know. Eric Bieniemy might not be there next.
I think he's going to be your head coach, in my opinion. But we can discuss that one later.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the marriage is over. Like I said, any team doesn't have those top quarterbacks, those top 5, top 10, is a contention. Every team doesn't have one of the top 10 is always a contention for any veteran quarterback that has Russ's pedigree.
All right, Brian. Get this one out.
The biggest thing that I was waiting for somebody to bring up is that this whole thing has to deal with Russ and not wanting to drop his insurance clause in case he gets hurt. The Broncos ownership has been harassing him to drop this clause, and he's been refusing, and they've been threatening him to bench him if he doesn't drop this clause. So that's the crux of the whole situation. So I'm not positive that this relationship is over. Again, with the monies that they owe Russ, I just don't see an easy way for Denver to get out of this and not be cap dead in the end, without a quarterback. Now they can start Stidham all they want, but we all know that Stidham is not going to be their answer. No matter how much Sean Payton tries. And the other thing too is that, the berating on the sideline. I mean, quarterback's been getting that for years. I mean, go ask what was the quarterback for the Giants, Mark? He's
Phil Simms.
Phil Simms. I mean, because they used to lay him around up and down. I mean, there's one where he tells Simms to sit the F down, and you can read it on his lips. So
okay, but Simms,
My bad, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, you gentlemen are naive if y'all think that these coaches are all sweet and generous to these quarterbacks. They lighten to them just like everybody else. As a matter of fact, y'all were talking about the best quarterback in NFL, and he used to make an example of in practice all the time just to make everybody know that they're all accountable. So I don't put too much into that fiasco right there. But I think you'll see Russell Wilson next year with the Denver Broncos. I don't see a way of them getting out of it, again, without being, cap killed and not actually having a team.
That's the main reason for the cap.
Yeah, but they've already the management is already dug their grave when they signed him again. So their biggest issue was.
Did Parcells draft Phil Simms?
I think he did.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
That's
the other thing too. Russell Wilson is the prototypical type of. I mean, he is Drew Brees almost. They're same in stature.
Yeah.
He just has more rushing ability than Drew Brees.
I think he did draft.
But what is it? You never saw Sean Payton go at Drew Brees quite like that.
I mean,
Never
Russell, but the whole team
Never.
hasn't been doing well. And I mean, I never watched every game, so I can't say for positive that he never yelled, public like that. But I mean, again, I think that's just a little more blown up than what y'all are trying to make.
No, Parcells didn't draft Phil Simms.
It was a different era of football, and I get what you're saying. I know, and that coaches do go at their quarterbacks too, but there's something about Darren says he's having problems with his laptop. There's something about
He forgot to update like you be doing, bro.
Probably. It's something about the way that their dynamic feels. It just seems off to me, just from seeing.
You mean the relationship between Peyton
yeah.
and Russell?
Yeah.
It does.
It just feels off.
It doesn't seem like it's natural, like a flow. It doesn't. You're absolutely right about that one.
I don't know, but statistically, Russ is having one of his best seasons ever.
But they're not winning. At least they're not winning.
Yeah, but you can't put all that at Russ's feet. I mean, when your defense gives up 70 points, it's kind of hard to win.
Right, that's the thing. But I mean, I like I said, because of the sheer cap numbers, I feel like you're right, Brian. Like there's no way that they can get rid of him just because of the cap numbers. But you still had a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, you can't play football and play it like, oh, I'm worried about him getting hurt. You just got to go out there and play.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I mean, even right now in the playoff picture, they haven't been eliminated. They're like the last. They got up as number 12. They haven't been eliminated yet. But still, if you haven't been eliminated yet, shouldn't you try to win these last two? I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, they're saying they're using Stidham to try to get a boost to the offense. They think he may bring a boost to the offense. Herman, there's not that much liquid in that little cup you keep sipping on.
Actually, there is.
Now those cups are actually pretty good.
This thing holds a good amount.
I love the cup, but there's not that much liquid in that cup, Herman.
It is. What do you mean?
I mean, you keep popping that little cup. I mean, I love it. But you keep popping that cup up there, man. It can't be that much liquid in it thing. Unless it's liquor. Unless you sip it.
It's liquid. It's just I'm not drinking that much of it at a time.
Okay.
All right, that was a good topic. Let's move on to the next one because y'all long-winded, I see tonight. And all right.
You're the most long-winded person on this show.
Whatever. I said two things and I moved on. All right. So we're gonna get into we got the playoffs coming up. And they always talk about now's the time to get hot and what team you don't want to play. So let's discuss this. Which NFC team NFC team / AFC team, so you can name one on each side, is a sleeper heading into the playoffs and may be a tough out? Marcus, I'll let you start this one.
So for the NFC, I think it's obvious. I think it's the Rams. Rams are now 8-7. They're playing real good right now. Stafford's looking good. Cooper Kupp is playing. He's healthy, or as healthy as a person can be at this point in the season. McVay is a great coach. They got Super Bowl winning experience. I just think they're the sleeper. I think they might be able to do a lot. And they say it's a whole new season once you enter the playoffs. So for NFC, I would definitely say it was the Rams. For the AFC, they're currently on the bubble. So are we talking about teams right now, this in the playoff spot, or
whatever you want to do, Marcus? Whatever you want
to be on the bubble, or yeah.
So they're on the bubble, and I've been on them for a while. Even though I think they're on a 2-game losing streak. It's the Texans. I feel like if CJ Stroud comes back, they would be a team to reckon with. And I don't think a lot of people want to see them. The defense has been playing pretty good. I'm about to mess up the coach's name. DeMarco Murray, the coach,
D'Amico Ryan.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryan, that guy. I got a lot of faith in him.
Better not ever be coaching no team in the NFL.
I got a lot of faith in that guy, and I just think that I think if they make it into the playoffs, then I think people should really be looking out for them and probably be afraid to see them. They've shown me a lot this season. I'm kind of like on the Texans, drinking the Texans Kool-Aid a little bit. So that's my AFC sleeper.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Marcus on one of them, and that is the Rams. Right now, they set to be the 6th seed. They can't catch up with the Cowboys, of course, but between the tiebreaker with them in Seattle, they'll get the tiebreaker with them. But they've been playing hot, man. They almost look like the greatest team on turf again with the wide receivers and how Stafford's been playing. So they feel pretty good. So I think Rams are probably one of the teams that I think you don't want to face in the NFC right now in the playoffs. They can beat you. The AFC team, I would say, is another 6 seed team, and that's the Bills. They've got a 3-game winning streak right now. They're getting hot right in December. They got 2 games, one against Miami, the other one against New England. Both divisional games. They win those. They get in there. So I think the Bills will be one team in the AFC, and the Rams will be the NFC team that you do not want to face.
All right, well, I'm gonna go a little different route in the NFC. I can agree with you guys with the Rams. Rams are definitely playing some good football right now. They're getting hot, but Rams have a losing road record, and they will be going on the road the entire times for the playoffs. So that's going to be a little tough for them. So I'm gonna go actually with Tampa. Tampa's been playing some really good football too, and they're likely going to win their division. So they're going to get a home game, and that's going to make them a little tough for that before they have to go on the road. And then when they go on the road, Tampa actually has a 500 road record also. So they can play a little bit on the road too. So I'm going to actually go with Tampa on that one. And then for the AFC, now I'm not sure if they're in right now, but are the Colts? Are they still in the bubble? Or are they?
Yeah,
They're
on the
they're
bubble.
still in the bubble.
No, they're number 7.
They're the 7th seed right now.
The
They're
7th seed right now.
I'm gonna go with the Colts, and it's not gonna be a little weird to say the Colts, but they're starting to play football too. But this is the key that made me pick the Colts. The Colts have a 3-4 record at home. They have a 5-3 record on the road, so they play better on the road than they do at home. That's kind of crazy, and they're gonna be on the road the whole time too. So I'm gonna go with the Colts on the AFC team because they could be a tough out, with such a good road record. Brian, who you got?
Yeah, I'm with Mark and Marcus on the Rams. I just like the way they're playing right now, and that running back has come out of nowhere and has just been like lighting up the NFC. Yeah, he's just been lighting it up, and he really put a spark to that team. We're all a little different on the AFC. I like the Cleveland Browns to make some noise in the playoffs. They're currently the 5th ranked team right now. And again, with the way that Flacco is lighting it up, and they already had a Super Bowl caliber defense all year long. I think they have the best chance to make some noise in the playoffs. So I'm going with Cleveland.
And Darian.
So for my AFC team, I'm gonna agree with Mark. I'm gonna say the Bills, but my reasons are a little different. So Josh Allen, he has the playoff experience, the road playoff experience already, and he's been to an AFC championship. So given that, I feel like it wouldn't be a problem for him to go on the road to any of the teams that are already in the playoffs, being Cleveland, a Miami, or a Baltimore, because the weather's not going to affect them. And like I said, he's probably going to have more playoff experience than the quarterback will go against. So I feel like Buffalo, since they're bowling right now and they're not going to have any factors that are kind of weighing them down in the playoffs, I think they're going to be an AFC sleeper team. And then somebody's going to throw a third team in there for the NFC if they can crawl their way back up. I'm going to say the Saints. And the reason why I say that is because kind of all the reasons why we were kind of high on them at the beginning of the season. You got a veteran quarterback in Derek Carr. You got a pretty good run game with Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. And then if their wide receiver core can get healthy, they still have Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, who actually, if you look back the last couple of weeks, they've been pretty statistically good. It's just that their offense as a whole hasn't been good. Like, they haven't been able to run the ball, so that's why they've been losing. But I feel like if they can get healthy before the playoffs and kind of figure out how to crawl the way back, they maybe would be able to make some noise because they have a veteran roster and their defense is actually pretty good too.
All right, so that's
Hey, Darren, I just want to say this. The next time you come do the show, you got to wear a black shirt, not that.
You can always wear Cowboys.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know Cowboy stuff was against the rules,
No,
Hey, Darren,
black shirt.
Darren, I know you're a little young, but Joe Flacco has some playoff experience too, including a Super Bowl win.
That's not before my time. I just forgot.
Okay.
Are we really giving Joe Flacco credit for that Super Bowl win, though?
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
that's my other thing too.
Hell yes. He got paid off of
the-
that game.
When you
Joe
got the
Flacco
best
lit it up in
defense
the
of the
playoffs.
decade,
Herman, if he don't make the throws, they don't win that game.
Yes. He
And-
made some
and-
throws in that Denver playoff game.
Yeah.
Joe
somebody
Flacco's
closed
playoff.
his eyes and threw it up to Jacoby Jones.
Yeah.
In double coverage down the sideline.
Hey, he threw it, didn't he? You get credit for the throw. You get credit for it. If it get caught, you get credit for it.
Hey, look, he threw it to the right man too.
Joe Flacco's playoff
Nobody on the
stats are way
defense
better
threw
than
that
his
ball,
regular
Darian.
season stats.
Nobody on the defense threw that ball.
You said what? Marcus's playoff stats are way better than the regular
His
season.
regular season stats. He lights it up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna see.
That was
All right,
back
fellas.
then where everybody was the MVP. Remember Eli? Was it talking about you can't spell Eli? I'm not being the MVP of what was he saying? I can't remember. Forget it.
I believe in Eli.
All right, moving on. Long-winded once again.
Hey,
We're
man,
gonna
look, it's
review
after
last
Christmas.
week.
We on vacation. Everybody on vacation. We got time.
No, everybody ain't on no vacation. What are you talking about? What's a vacation? Mark, you on vacation?
Heck no.
Okay.
I'm on vacation. So.
Yeah, we know y'all look rested.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get into last week's games, and we're gonna roll into this week's games.
Darren, you're on the
Let's
honor
start.
system of who you would have picked in these games.
All right, cool.
If you come out 6-0, something will be suspect.
We know so.
Right.
All right, let's start this one off. We had the New Orleans Saints traveling into Los Angeles to the Rams. The Rams won this one 30-22. Matthew Stafford was 24 for 34, 308 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. David Carr was 27 for 40, 319 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Leading rusher for the Rams was Kyron Williams, 22 carries for 104 yards. Leading rusher for the Saints was Alvin Kamara, 9 carries for 19 yards. That's pathetic. He was on the fantasy team. Puka Nacua was the leading receiver, 9 receptions, 164 yards. Chris Olave, leading receiver for the Saints, 9 receptions for 123 yards. I'll start off this one. I picked the Rams in this one, and I get this one right. Pretty much what I expected from the Rams. They had been hot. They've been hot all season, and New Orleans offense has been so up and down and wishy-washy. You just kind of don't know what you're going to get. And then obviously from the stats, they couldn't run the football with their leading. They had a total of 35 rushing yards for the entire game. You can't win games like that in the NFL. That's pretty bad, especially if you don't have an elite quarterback like Dak Prescott or Josh Allen or something like that. Yep, Rams. I got this one right. Marcus, would you like to chime in? Who'd you have?
I also picked the Rams. It actually was a pretty close game, but like you said, the rushing yards. LA had like 133 compared to 35 put up by New Orleans. You're not gonna win like that. Plus, I believe New Orleans had 1 turnover, so it's hard to win games like that. So I picked the Rams, and I was right.
Darian, who would you have picked in this one?
So I would have went with the Rams just because I feel like they were playing better and they were at home. Plus, I mean, the Saints have been dealing with a lot of injuries right now, but I feel like this was just a momentum game for the Rams. They were able to run the ball a lot better. They kind of show all the reasons why they can be a sleeper team in the playoffs, having a good young running back, 2 good receivers, and their defense was on. They were stopping the run. That's going to be a pretty big key in the playoffs, especially in the NFC. You're going to have to be able to stop the run if you're going to beat the Niners, Cowboys, or the Eagles. So
Cowboys don't really run.
Yeah,
what was that?
We kind of don't run the football. But yeah.
I took the Rams.
Okay.
Well, we run it. We just don't run it well.
Right. Mark.
I took the Rams also. As y'all stated, the Rams offense was just as good, and the defense. They pretty much shut down the Saints running game. Saints had no running game. The 3 turnovers they forced end up giving them good position, good and scoring touchdowns on it. The slow starts for the Rams from that, they end up getting up 458 points total in offense. So yeah, the Rams just totally dominated. They look like the greatest show on turf.
And Brian.
Yeah, we were all in accord. I was also with the Rams, and like you said, Mark, I mean, offensively, they both played pretty well except for the running game, but it was the turnovers that really changed the game and what gave the Rams the advantage.
All right. Moving on to the next game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling into Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers won this one easily, 34-11. One of the reasons why they probably won is because they finally decided to start a halfway decent quarterback, Mason Rudolph, 17 for 27, 290 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. On the flip side, Jake Browning crashed back down to earth, 28 attempts for 42. 28 for 42, 335 yards passing. He had 1 interception, but he did have 3. I'm sorry, he had 1 touchdown, but he did have 3 interceptions. You cannot win games turning the ball over like that. Rushing leader for the Steelers was Najee Harris, 19 carries for 68 yards, and Joe Mixon was the leading rusher for the Bengals, 11 carries for 43 yards. Leading receiver. He doesn't block, but he catches the ball. George Pickens, 4 catches for 195 yards for the Steelers. And then on the flip side, T. Higgins, 5 catches for 140 yards. Pittsburgh had a total of 113 rushing yards compared to Cincinnati's 59 rushing yards. Don't know what Cincinnati's doing, but they're not going to win games with not being able to run football with an experienced quarterback like Browning, who was doing good, but having him pass 42 times is just way too much. Marcus, who'd you pick in this one?
I did pick. Who?
Marcus, go ahead. I started with you. Go ahead.
So actually, I picked the Bengals. I was off on the Steelers. They had lost 2 games. I feel like they shouldn't have lost, but you can never count a Mike Tomlin coach team out. And like you said, they started Mason Rudolph to the Mitch Trubisky. It's trying to be real good for them. Their defense showed up. Like you said, brought Browning back down to earth. And remember last week we had a question about whether they should bench Pickens for a game, and they didn't. Just like I said, they shouldn't. And look what he did. So I picked the Bengals, but I was definitely wrong. I should have picked the Steelers. That's what I get for doubting the Mike Tomlin coach team.
Brian.
Yeah, I was also on the Bengals bandwagon for this one. I mean, offensively, they were really almost the same team without Burrow. But this particular game, the Steelers defense came to play. Like Herman said, they only allowed 11 points, and they got 3 interceptions. They also topped that off with 3 sacks. So that's just not a winning recipe. The Steelers offense took advantage. They actually used Pickens for some particular reason. How many yards did he have? Like 192 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
He went from not blocking to being the MVP of the league. So
and he got those from only 4. He got those from only 4 receptions too.
Yeah. So I mean, if it wasn't for Amari Cooper, I mean, you would have been hearing more noise about his day. So congratulations to the Steelers. And like you said, Marcus, you should never pick against Tomlin all the time, especially when he's getting close to getting that winning record.
Darian?
I would have got this one wrong. I would have picked the Bengals. I think their main problem was that Zach Taylor called the game as if Joe Burrow was still playing. I mean, you can't lean on the pass game 40-something times and only give your Pro Bowl running back 11 carries when your quarterback's out. One other thing, T. Higgins is also showing why he's a number 1 receiver in himself, and I think if he doesn't get paid this offseason, he's probably going to leave Cincinnati. Because, I mean, if he's going to keep having these type of games when Jamar Chase is out, then it's just going to prove why they're going to have to pay him both. But at the end of the day, the game plan wasn't good enough to be a division rival coached by a coach like Mike Tomlin, who's going to know the ins and outs of your offense. And like you said, me and my dad talked about this a little bit. Zach Taylor, I don't think is that good of a play caller. Joe Burrow kind of made him look a little good. Like his system, it's not like think about it doesn't have any intricacies that you can really say like, oh, that's a Zach Taylor scheme, like I'm like a Shanahan or a McVay or Andy Reid. So I feel like he's just not the same caliber play caller too. So that kind of exposed him a little bit this week.
Well, Browning had to pass so much because they were behind the whole game. I mean, they were down 24.
Yeah, they went down fast.
Yeah,
24
they were down.
Going into the half.
They did go down fast. But some of that came off the interceptions too, though. So
Yeah.
But I picked the Bengals on this one. I did pick it wrong, and yeah, Browning was going into the game. He was hot. He wasn't making these boneheaded mistakes. But I think one of the big things too, and Darian just touched on it, is Jamar Chase was out. And while Higgins did step up and showed he could fill in for him, it's almost like, you got to play call down his top two most talented people on his offense, and you're gonna get exposed if you don't change up what you're doing. So I did pick the Bills and did get this one wrong.
So
And Mark,
I'm sorry. Well, I was gonna say real quick. The thing with backup quarterbacks is they seem like they have a 4-game lifespan.
It's not for long.
That's
It's
funny.
not for long.
And why don't you tell us why you picked against your team? Oh, I'm sorry.
I took the Bengals also, man. But look at that. Rudolph saves Christmas. He may have saved our season also. The touchdowns on 3 of the first 4 drives, Rudolph scored touchdowns on it. They took a chance early and they were successful with it. What'd you say?
I was messing with her. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I picked against it.
My bad.
Way to go, producer.
It's embarrassing.
I picked against the Steelers, and of course, I got it wrong. But I'm happy for the win.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. This was the Peacock exclusive game this week.
Good Lord. Which one was it?
Wait, am I reading the right game? Oh, that's
No, I don't think that's the right. Is that the right? This was the Peacock exclusive game?
No,
No, we didn't
it
pick
was
this game.
the Bills game was the Peacock one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we
My
didn't pick
bad.
that game.
We didn't pick that game. Give me a second.
Should be on
fellas.
Browns,
I'm sorry.
Texans, right?
Yeah, we should be doing
Yeah,
Browns.
we're on Browns, Texans.
Okay, here we go. All right, so this was a game everybody heard about, I'm sure, because of the receiver in this game. Setting over here. The Cleveland Browns traveled into Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Browns won this one 36-22. Joe Flacco, 27 for 42, 368 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On the flip side, the Texans had, I guess, Davis Mills played most of the game. 15 passes, 32 yards, 149. 15 for 32, 149 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. Rushing on the Cleveland side, Jerome Ford was the leading rusher, 15 carries for 25 yards. Devin Singletary was the leading rusher for Houston, 9 carries for 44 yards. Amari Cooper was the leading receiver, 11 catches, 264 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it sounds like a passing stat line, right?
Yeah, it does, right? On the flip side, Dalton Schultz, 8 catches for 61 yards. This one was crazy because Amari Cooper basically went off. The Browns had 374 receiving yards compared to Houston's 211 receiving yards. So the team was really running the football well, I guess. The Browns had 54 yards rushing, and Houston had 72 yards. I'll go first with this one. I picked the Texans, and I got this one wrong. I guess I probably didn't consider the fact that, or I may not have known that Stroud was going to definitely be out for this game.
Oh, you knew. You knew.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you knew.
But I will say this. When Cleveland signed Joe Flacco, I was clowning, but I couldn't have been more wrong because Joe Flacco has actually come back into the league, and he's lighting it up. And more power to you, Joe Flacco, because I mean what he's doing is impressive, you guys, for older quarterback, even though he's not that old, I guess, but he's old.
He's 38.
Drafted 2008.
I guess he is that old. But yeah, I picked the Texans and I got this one wrong. Mark, who did you have in this one?
Yeah, I took this Texans too, man. I thought that the Joe Flacco was going to lay an egg. He didn't. Him and Amari Cooper were incredible all game. Check this out. Flacco is the 3rd oldest player in NFL history to throw for 300-yard straight games. He's behind Tom Brady and Warren Moon.
Wow.
Are you saying he see through for 300
Three straight 300-yard games?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 straight.
Okay.
Darian.
So I
didn't know.
I probably would have went with the Texans too. To be honest, with them being at home, and I still wasn't really convinced with Flacco going into this game. But actually, it's funny. I saw this tweet the other day. It kind of goes along with this. Somebody said Flacco played against Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, Brian Dawkins, and Charles Woodson. So these defenses he's playing against now is nothing to him. I think it's actually pretty true. It's the new NFL is like geared towards starting quarterbacks and receivers. So it's like, man, they're not hitting my receivers, man. I'm not getting hit under my chin. This is good. So yeah, honestly, I would have been totally wrong on this one because I haven't been on Cleveland ever since Flacco been there. So.
And that's something.
Brian, who'd you?
Yeah, I did pick Cleveland in this one, but I picked this one because I knew Stroud wasn't starting. And I really felt like the Browns defense would lead the way. I did not anticipate Flacco throwing. Basically, that it was just a Flacco Coop game. You know, what's the play, coach? Oh, throw it to Coop. You know, I mean, 12 times. It's one thing if you get all these yards on like 3 or 4 plays, you know, big plays and stuff like, you know, with Pickens and everything. Every time you turn around, he was throwing to Cooper. I mean, the announcers were making a joke about it. He was making, I mean, crazy. It was like Flacco. I don't even Flacco knew there was other receivers on the field, except Njoku. I think he threw one pass to Njoku, but I think he forgot that the other players could catch the ball too. It was just ridiculous, but it was a great game, man. I picked it right, but I did not pick it for the right reason.
And Marcus.
Yeah, also picked the Browns for the same reason Brian picked them, because I knew C.J. Stroud wasn't playing, and just, you know, the Browns defense has been on fire, and I feel like, you know, without Stroud, the Texans would be able to compete against that defense. And like you said, you just Flacco and Cooper. You know what they say, you know, if keep doing what you're doing on the fit, keep playing the same, keep doing the same play. If they don't catch on to it, you just keep doing it. So he just kept throwing it to Coop, and they didn't stop it. So hey, that's who you keep throwing to.
All right, I got everybody, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Moving on to the next game, we had the New England Patriots traveling into Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. The Patriots won this 26-23. Bailey Zappi was 25 for 33, 256 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. On the flip side, Denver, Russell Wilson, 25 for 37, 235. Yeah. 238 yards passing.
You just
right. I knew it. 2 touchdowns. That's interesting, and those are interesting stats considering they want to give the team a spark, and they're benching him.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He was sacked 5 times too. So how about you spark that offensive line? You want to give the team a spark. On the Patriots side, the leading rusher was Zeke Elliott. 12 carries for 27 yards. The leading rusher for Denver was Jaleel McLaughlin, 6 carries for 37 yards. Leading receiver for the Patriots, Demario Douglas, 5 receptions for 70 yards. And leading receiver for the Broncos, Marvin Mims Jr., 3 receptions for 63 yards. I'll start this one off. No, I started off the last one. Mark, you can start this one off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I took the Broncos, and I don't know. There's no way I was going to take the Patriots. It started out as a snoozer. I thought this game, I was ready to go to sleep early. Denver had a lot on the line in this game, man. The Patriots only had to reason to play for was for pride, but the Denver just, I mean, I just thought they were on the come up from starting out the season from being 1-5. They went on a couple of game winning streaks, but they just flattened out from there. But I took the Broncos and I got it wrong.
Darren, who would you have taken in this one?
I definitely would have took the Broncos. I'm not high on the Patriots at all this year. But I thought Zappi, he did a pretty good job being efficient, spreading the ball around, looking at these stats. Demario Douglas, 5 receptions, 74 yards. Devontae Parker, 4 receptions. Zeke had 9, probably on all screens. Raygor had 2 for 30 yards. Farrell Brown had 2. Gesicki, Tyquan Thornton. So it looks like he was getting all his guys involved and just pretty much doing what Belichick would have wanted him to do, outside of Mac Jones, who's been, he's throwing a lot of interceptions, turning the ball over. So I think that's what the Patriots needed to kind of find some sort of consistency. But I think this is more of a game that the Broncos just blew because they really needed that for their playoffs and stuff. So now they knocked themselves down in the standings. So I'm going to attribute that more of the Broncos screwing up than the Patriots really doing anything because we know kind of what the rosters look like at the end of the day.
Brian?
I was wrong too. I also went with the Broncos. You know, the Broncos had no reason at all to lose this game. But I mean, it was a joint loss. It wasn't just Russ. Nobody played well on the Broncos side of the ball, and the Patriots just did enough. I mean, their offense is funny to watch. I mean, like Darian was saying, there was a lot of screens to see. You know, Zeke on the outside. You know, Zappy would just toss it to him. Zeke would make a couple people miss and die for like 5-6 yards. So it's nothing hard to stop, and their defense was doing well. And what happened to Jerry Jeudy? I mean,
Man, he's
I
been
haven't
great
heard of
question.
him. I mean, is he even
man.
playing anymore? I mean, at
I
one
don't-
point he was. Go ahead.
I don't think he recovered from him and Steve Smith getting into it earlier this year.
He was
It's
bad
something, man, because
before then,
you
though.
remember like a couple years ago when he was first, he was like going to be, you know, he was on a level with CD and everything, supposedly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he
Coming
just
out, yeah, he
falling
was
off,
really
so
good, yeah.
It was ugly, but yeah.
I told you.
So I picked the Broncos. I picked this one wrong.
Steve Smith punked him, and he ain't been the same since.
Marcus, who'd you pick?
You know, I also picked the Broncos. Like Mark said, there was no way I was going to this picking the Patriots. You know, if you had told me this was going to be the game, they got Russ, the ended Russ's career, in Denver, I'd have been like, whatever.
Crazy.
But
Right.
I mean, that's what it was. But yeah, there was no way I was picking the Patriots, and the Broncos let me down, so I was wrong.
Yeah, I picked the Broncos in this one too. I think we all got this one wrong. Nobody expected the Patriots. We didn't even know who was starting at quarterback in the middle of the week last week for the Patriots. I don't think we knew. So,
Well, no, we knew. I knew it wasn't Matt Jones. I knew that.
well, yeah, we knew that, but I mean, it's like, how can you pick a team, you know, where they've just been bad all year, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, you know, you look at Russell Wilson's stats, and you're like, well, I don't know that the problem's at quarterback for the Broncos, but apparently the Broncos know better than we do because they're benching him. So.
No, yeah, he's like
Once
top
again,
10 in all stats this year, too.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty consistent.
He was sacked 5 times. I mean, the Broncos just, you know, like, you know, as a team, they're not playing good, but I guess playing well always. So I picked the Broncos, and I did get this one wrong.
You know what's crazy is a lot of times you'll just look at games and look at the quarterback matchup, and there's no way you would have picked Bailey Zappi over Russell Wilson.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Hey. All right. Next game, Cowboys traveled into Miami to take on the Dolphins. So it was a close game. This was a good game. Cowboys lost this one 20-22. Tunga 24 for 37, 293 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 1 time. Dak Prescott 20 for 32, 253 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Dak was sacked 4 times. Leading rusher for the Cowboys was Tony Pollard, 12 carries for 38 yards. Leading rusher for the Dolphins was Raheem Mostert, 11 carries for 46 yards. Leading receiver for the Dolphins was Tyreek Hill, 9 catches for 99 yards. And leading receiver for the Cowboys was CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches, 118 yards.
and a buttock shot.
Yeah, that's right.
And a what?
A butt
He
shot.
showed his butt. he didn't get the call, but they pulled almost pulled CD pants down, holding him.
Yeah. You know, rushing wise, both teams rushed it just about the same. Total for a team, and it was 6 carries for 91 yards, and Dallas was 25 carries for 97 yards. So, like that, it was a good game. Let the head start first. Marcus, why don't you start since you're the biggest one?
Whatever. So I did pick the Dolphins, but I wasn't too confident going into this with that pick. But it was pretty much an evenly matched game. I think Dallas had a fumble, one turnover that was on Dallas' side. I think that was the 4 sacks. But at the 4 sacks, but it was an evenly matched game, and I felt like Dak did what he had to do. He came back, basically had a game-winning drive, looked good and everything, but The defense really couldn't stop Miami. The only complaint I got about it is, I think when that first drive Dallas had in the game, I mean, CeeDee Lamb was lighting it up. Then they ain't hit him again no more into the second half. It's like, why do you keep doing what works? You should have did the Flacco or Amari Cooper thing. Just kept throwing to him. But yeah, I think this was a very close matchup. And like I said, I did pick the Dolphins, but I had my doubts. But they finally beat a team with a winning record. They waited all the way to week 16, so I still think they're soft. But yeah, I was right.
Mark?
Yeah, I took the Dolphins also in this one, man. On paper, I mean, they basically evenly matched up. Both these teams were like the two top scoring offenses going into this game. But the Dolphins end up prevailing in this one, getting that last minute field goal to provide them with the win. I thought it was important that Dallas didn't get off to an early start. Normally, they jump out early on you, and then you pin them DBs, the defensive ends, pass rush back, and they go after you. Well, they couldn't. They had a chance to do that this game, but I took the Dolphins on this one, and they won it.
Darian?
Yeah, I would have went with the Cowboys on this one. This another game for the Cowboys where the deciding play ended up being 3 inches. We fumbled a football on the 1-inch line with Hunter Lipke. Pollard gets stopped short on the half-yard line on the play before that, and I mean we didn't lose the game by 2 points, so that ends up being a factor. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we played bad or anything. The defense, I mean, you hold the top scoring team in the league to 22 points. Your offense has to score more if you're the second highest scoring team in the league. But outside of that, I didn't think Tyreek Hill actually had as dominant of a day as the numbers. Like he almost had 100 yards, but he wasn't really as big of a difference maker for the game as it seemed. It's just like the Dolphins' offense was rolling as a whole. Like I thought McDaniels had a good game plan with the RPOs for Tua. He was just in rhythm and stuff like that. I mean, Dak played a good game. He didn't turn the ball over either. But the Dolphins just made 1 or 2 more plays than the Cowboys could. And like you said, that one turnover ended up costing us.
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys in this one, of course. And I'll, piggyback off what Darren said. Dallas played a game. Miami played a good game too. Dallas did hold Miami's offense, pretty much in check. One of the big things was with Tyreek, and I think Dallas went into the game plan with, he's going to get his receptions. It's that after the catch. You got to make sure you get him down on the ground after the catch. And I think Dallas did a really good job at that. And that's the reason why he only had 99 receiving yards. Yeah, another big difference I think in the game was the fact that Dak was sacked 4 times and Tua was sacked once. Tua's line really protected him significantly well compared to Dak.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
But I picked the Cowboys and I did get this one wrong. Brian?
Yeah, I was with the Cowboys on this one, and Herman, you kind of touched on it too. The offensive line was a big part of this particular game. We didn't have our starting left tackle in the game, and it showed. The 4 sacks showed that. A couple more pressures. Again, the Hunter Lipke fumble at the goal line on the first drive. Who knew that was going to be such a game-changing play in this? It was the first drive, but if Dallas had punched that in, like Mark was saying, the defense would have been able to pin their ears back, made this game a little more competitive. Cowboys could have kind of possibly got up to a couple scored lead. The other thing too is you saw that Tua looks nervous out there. Tua was throwing the ball high. Tua was missing a lot of wide open receivers. Tua don't want to get hit. You can tell Tua just don't want to get hit. He is terrified of getting a concussion.
After last season, how can you blame him?
I can't, but you can just see though it does change the offense. Also, Miami, you got to give them credit, even though they lost Waddle in that game, and Tyreek Hill was kind of hurt in and out the game playing. They still managed to do what they had to do to get that dub. So you got to give them credit for that win. I mean, they did a good job, but the Cowboys had their opportunities. We just didn't make it happen.
Your phone supposed to be on vibrate, Holly. Vibrate.
It is. That's my alarm to tell my daughter to take her medicine. So that always goes on.
Okay.
I don't know you ain't talking. You get phone calls from insurance companies and
Whatever.
All right, so let's move on to the last ones. We had
Ravens at the Niners.
Yeah. We had the Baltimore Ravens traveling into San Francisco to take on the San Francisco 49ers.
What's up,
Lamar
Vince?
Jackson.
He ain't watching.
Lamar Jackson, the current favorite MVP, was 23 for 35, 252 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. On the flip side, Brock the Pumpkin Purdy was 18 for 32, 255 yards passing, 4 interceptions. Yes, 4 interceptions, not 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Leading rusher for the Ravens was Lamar Jackson, 7 carries for 45 yards. Leading rusher for the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, 14 carries for 104 yards and 1 touchdown. Leading receiver for the Ravens, Zay Flowers, 9 receptions, 72, 1 touchdown. Leading receiver for the 49ers was George Kittle, 7 catches for 126 yards. Darren, why don't you start this one off for us? Who would you have picked?
So actually going in, I'm saying I would have picked the Ravens. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because I feel like they're the only team in the league that actually matched up with the 49ers, probably like up and down the roster. Defensively, they're built to stop the run, and then they can play man on the outside. So when you got guys like Debo and Kittle that you need to be able to cover, so you can like cover one-on-one and leave people in the box. The Ravens have a pretty good personnel with that. And then when you flip sides with it, they do the same thing that the 49ers do on offense. They run the ball very well, but they have a much improved pass threat this year. So that makes their offense basically more two-dimensional than it was before. So like I said, I figured the Ravens they're a better matchup for against the 49ers than most other teams, especially that you'll see in the NFC. And then once the Lamar Jackson gets rolling like that, or I'm just saying the Ravens offense as a whole, it's kind of hard to stop them because they're a very physical team. So when you see a team like San Francisco, who is like their identity is being physical, the Ravens are so good at playing that game that once they start, it's just hard to get them stopped.
Mark, who'd you pick in this one?
I took the Ravens in this one, man. The Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald, he took away McCaffrey. That was all he wrote. You put the ball in Brock Purdy's hand and try to get him to beat you. It wasn't happening. My Christmas thing when I talked about Rudolph, Ravens defense was the Grinch that stole Christmas. Their defense played tight,
and they did it in their celebration too.
Yeah, the kick down and then the taking that stuff and he sure did.
Is that what that was? I did not know that.
They were stealing gifts.
Yeah. Okay, did not know what that was.
I took the Ravens on this one.
Brian, who'd you have in this one?
Yeah, I had the 49ers in this one, and I gotta give props to the Ravens defense. Like Darian said, they were ball hawking out there. They didn't necessarily stop McCaffrey because McCaffrey did get his rushing yards. He got like 105, I think, rushing yards. A touchdown. But they did shut down Debo, and they did kind of shut down Ayuk, which is normally the one that's always leaking out and getting there. Kittle, I guess, really was tearing them up for the most part. But it was all on Purdy. I mean, when you put pressure on Purdy and you make him not have these easy, wide open throws, he shows what he is, which is Mr. Irrelevant. His arm's not that great. His decision making isn't that great. Most of the time, they cut the field down where he only has a couple choices to make, and most of the time, it's the right choice. So I knew Purdy was Marcus. Stop looking at me like that, okay? Don't shake your head, okay? We all knew Purdy was.
The man was the leading MVP candidate up until.
Okay, he was also benched. Okay, he was benched in this game. Okay, no MVP gets benched in a game. Okay, so we hear the boy talk about Purdy and all this stuff. And I told y'all before, as soon as it's time for him to get paid, they will find somebody to replace him because he's not.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to get paid unless he wins him a Super Bowl. That's the only way.
Even if he wins him a Super Bowl, I think it's a system. I think it's the system. I mean, they've been successful with a lot of quarterbacks that haven't been that good.
Only two, Garoppolo and him. That was the only two.
No.
Who else?
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick took him to the Super Bowl, and before that Alex Smith had him.
That wasn't Shanahan.
That wasn't Shanahan.
Well, we talking about the organization or just in the Shanahan era?
We're talking about Shanahan.
Oh, okay.
But I picked the 49ers. I picked it wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah, I got this one right. I picked the Ravens, and I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Brian because this was definitely all on Purdy. And Marcus, you can MVP, whatever all you want. They didn't shut down McCaffrey really because he got 104. He got 103 yards rushing and a touchdown. George Kittle, who you know is going to be one of their top receivers, he wasn't shut down either because he got 7 catches for 126 yards. And Brian, on the contrary, it didn't really shut down Brandon Ayuk either. He got 6 catches for 113 yards. So all of their top dogs were doing what they do. Debo was the only one they did shut down. He only got 4 catches for 47 yards. If Purdy's not turning the ball over, this is an entirely different ball game.
True.
Your quarterback can't throw 4 picks and expect you to win the football game, as good as their defense is. This game
Romo did it. Romo did it one time.
That Purdy is not Romo. Not even close. But it just shows you that this game was all on Purdy. And when them bright lights came on and Purdy went up against a truly good team, he turned into the pumpkin that he is. No longer.
And he got his left tackle hurt.
Yeah. So I did pick the Ravens because I knew the Ravens had a good defense. I believed in Lamar Jackson. You know, they're playing all around good football as a team, the Ravens are, you know, and they had that defense could slow this team down, and they did that by getting turnovers. And when you turn the ball over that many times in a game, you're not likely to win. But I picked the Ravens, and I did this one right. Marcus, who'd you have?
You know, I did a coin toss, but I probably need to stop doing that because it always lands on the home team anyway. So I wound up picking the 49ers. You know, and for record, you know, Purdy, if you're watching, this is not a Brock Purdy bashing show. You know.
Yes,
This segment is.
We just keep it real. Just keep it real.
But you know, it is for, like you said, 4 turnovers. I mean, if you look at the yards, so the 49ers, they out total yards, it was 429 and 343. Passing yards, they had more than the Ravens, 308 to 241, and rushing yards, they had more to the Ravens, 121 to 102. So it does come down to those 4 turnovers. The Ravens really didn't stop them except for those turnovers. They were able to move up and down the field, but it was those interceptions that kept doing it. And, you know, when you do that, a team like the Ravens, a Harbaugh coach team like that, and then you got Lamar in there, you're not going to win. But yeah, I was kind of glad to see the Ravens do that. But I did not pick them. I picked the 49ers, and I was wrong.
All right, so how'd we do this week, fellas?
Ooh, I don't even want to
3
talk
and
about
3.
Out of
3 and 3.
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
Yeah, I was 3 and 3. Marcus, you still adding up? So
I said 3 and 3. I was the first one to say that.
I didn't hear you. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Hey, Marcus, just put yours on the screen. Just put yours on the screen before it starts.
I count mine every week, sir.
Of course you do. Once we're talking, you start counting them.
Whatever. Y'all some haters.
All right, let's move into this week's games. We're doing pretty good. All right, so first game, the Thursday night game. Wow, this to us. We got the 6-9 Jets taking on the 10-5 Browns. The Browns are 7-point favorite in this one. Darian, I'll let you start this one off. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Browns, and I'm gonna say they covered a 7-point spread. It's funny because you say like why they're doing this to us, but actually before the season, this would have been a pretty good game. Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson with Cleveland's roster would have sounded like. But no, I think Cleveland's defense is going to be too good because the Jets, who's their starting quarterback again?
Who knows?
Simeon, I think.
Trevor Simeon, right? Yeah, because that's Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think the Browns they'll need this win for playoff seeding to keep their spot where they're at right now, and the Jets just aren't a good enough roster as a whole. So I'm gonna go with the Browns, and I say they'll cover 7.
You ain't got to worry about this. Is a straight up pick.
Okay.
Cover. Mark, who you got in this one?
Hey, man, I'm taking the Brownies for everything that Darian said and some more. I don't see the Jets beating them. Give me the Brownies.
Yeah, I'm going with the Browns on this one too, especially after what we did last week offensively. I know that the Jets are supposed to have this good defense, which they do, but that defense gets tired at some point. So give me the Browns. Brian, who you got in this one?
Hey, Herman, how good can this defense be where they let the Washington team try to come back and win last week?
True.
Beating them 20 something to not to they let Trubisky. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What is his name?
Sam Howell.
What's the black quarterback's name?
Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. You're muted.
Okay.
He always
But
says
I'm
that.
just going with the Browns at 66%. I'm with you guys. I'm riding the Browns.
And Marcus.
I'm also taking the Browns. Like I said, the Jets are garbage. But like I stated earlier in the show, he's backup quarterbacks. They usually have a 4-game lifespan. So, after lighting it up last week, Flacco might come down this week. But I still got to take the Browns.
All right. Moving on to the next game. This is the Saturday evening night game, which I will be attending this week. Me and Dan.
And what else is happening at this game?
Oh, yes. And Jimmy Johnson will be inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor.
Congratulations, Jimmy.
Can't wait to see that. So
Way
we
too
got
late.
the 11-4. Yeah, finally. That's the only words you can give them. We got the 11-4 Lions traveling to Arlington to take on the 10-5 Cowboys. The Cowboys are 6.5-point favorites in this one. I will let the haters start first. Marcus, who you got?
I'll be drinking that Lions Kool-Aid all year, and I would like to drink it this week. But the Lions defense is suspect as hell. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are on fire. It's going to be a great home advantage. Jimmy's going into not Jimmy. Is that his name? Jimmy Johnson. Yeah.
Jimmy.
His name is
Is
Jimmy.
that his name?
He's going into the Ring of Honor. The Lions defense is too suspect. I got to go with the Cowboys.
Mark?
You guys are 7-0 at home right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it 8-0. I'm taking the Cowboys.
You suck. You suck. You suck. I was just waiting for him. Yeah, you're gonna make it 7-1.
Right. And Marcus, the banner is wrong. By the way, the
my
banner is
bad.
wrong. Darian, who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys. Same reason. I think the Lions defense can't hold CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott through the air. Not to mention, we have more of a plethora of receivers and they have DBs at their disposal. But on the flip side, I do think that the Lions offense can give the Cowboys defense some trouble running the ball. But I think it's going to be a pretty good game, probably 3, 4, 5 points at the end.
Let me do say this: the Lions do win this game. This will be the game that gets Ben Johnson his head coach job. I don't think it's gonna happen, but this will be the game that gets.
I think it depends how it looks though, because we could shut their offense down and it'd be a slower 17-20 type game.
Darren, I don't need you to put that stuff in the air, buddy. No.
Hey man, I'm just
Yeah, we don't talk those type of scenarios. Only
I'm just
wins
saying.
for the Cowboys.
Brian, who you got?
And I'm definitely going with the Cowboys. Like you guys were saying, the defense of the Lions is sometimes questionable. Darian brought up a great point. They can run the ball very well. In the last couple of weeks, the Dallas Cowboys has been susceptible to the defense ever since losing Haskins. The predictor has the Cowboys winning 71% as well. So
That much?
yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll round this one out. I'm taking the Cowboys also. Dallas is hard to beat at home, and they got the good luck charm coming to the game because I have not seen the Cowboys lose at home, and I'm not going to see them lose at home this Saturday. So
I thought you meant Jimmy. You talking about yourself?
Yeah, I'm talking about me. I'm the good luck charm. Jimmy too, but I'm gonna be there. So that's what matters. All right, moving on. We have it's ought to be an interesting one. Divisional game: 7-8 Packers taking on the 7-8 Vikings. The Vikings are 2-point favorites in this one, and this one does definitely have playoff implications in it. I'll start this one off first. I think the Packers are playing good football, but I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one. I think the Vikings are going to pull this one out at home. So give the Vikings. Mark, who you got?
Yeah, this was definitely got a playoff vibe. You figured it. The winner will probably be able to move on in it. The loser will be pretty much almost eliminated out of the playoffs. Green Bay has just not been consistent enough for me. I'm gonna take the Vikings too. I'm going with the Vikings at home.
Brian?
Yeah, ever since Minnesota let Caillou on the bench. I mean,
Caillou.
I keep telling you, you're going to hell.
Oh, man.
Butler's has been playing
Wow.
decent. I agree with Mark. Green Bay is just too inconsistent offensively. I think that the defense of Minnesota is going to prevail, and I think that Minnesota gets this W. Oh, the predictor has them too at 53%.
Yeah, tough.
Marcus?
In honor,
Really?
I don't know if y'all keep up with this nonsense, but in honor of Simone Biles, I'm picking her husband's team, the Packers.
Good grief.
I'm picking the Packers.
God.
Go John,
And-
go Jonathan Owens. See, I do know his name.
And Darian, who you picking?
I'm actually go with the Vikings at home. And I typically tend to lean the home team in division games, and I think Mark said, I think the Packers have just been kind of inconsistent. Not to mention the Vikings have a few more weapons on offense. I would say with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, and then what's the running name, Alexander Madison. Even though I think
Is
TJ
Addison
Hawkinson
playing?
went down for the season though, didn't he?
Is that Hawkinson went down.
not
Is
sure.
Addison going to play? I know
Yeah,
he got hurt,
Hawkinson
but is
did,
he?
I thought Addison was back this week, but
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I think you might be right. I think he was like week to week or day to day or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you if Justin Jefferson comes back. Well, I mean, he's already back, but if you can get Addison and Justin Jefferson in, they say Kurt not gonna be there next year, but if you got Kurt, Addison, Justin Jefferson, that's a deadly
That's
combination.
a core right there. Yeah.
That's a core right there.
Good.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the next one. This should be a good one. We got the 11-4 Dolphins coming into Baltimore to take on the 12-3 Ravens. Ravens are 3.5 point favorites in this one. Mark, who you got in this one?
I'm going to ride with the high hand with Lamar Williams and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the
Who's
Ravens.
Lamar
Lamar
Williams?
Jackson. Lamar Jackson. I was making fun of her.
Oh,
Really?
I'm like, is that a coach on
Jerry.
the sideline or something?
Darren, who you got in this one?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Baltimore too. I actually don't think this game's gonna be close. I don't think Miami matches up well with them. Baltimore is just too much of a downhill, lean on you type team. I just don't think Miami's finesse game is gonna match up well.
Marcus?
Yeah, I got to go with the Ravens. Like I said, even though the Dolphins finally beat a team with a winning record, it came with Week 16, way too late. And like Darren said, I think it's too finesse. I think Baltimore's going to go in there and slap me in the mouth. I'm picking Baltimore. This might be the AFC Championship game too.
It could, yeah, it definitely could.
Could be. Possibly. All right.
Yeah, I played with wanting to go with the Dolphins on this one just because the Ravens had such a big win against the Niners that they may have like a little bit of a letdown. But without Waddle, I think the Ravens, like Darren said, I think the Ravens defense will be a little too much. Predictor has them winning 56%. I'm going to ride with the predictor too and go with the Ravens.
Waddle still actually has a chance to play. They said he may play, according to the head coach. They said even though he has a high ankle sprain, it's not severe. So they said that's a possibility. So, all right. So we're all in accord on that one. Moving on to the next one, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, the 8-7 Cincinnati Bengals, traveling in to take on the 9-6 Chiefs. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites in this one. Darian, I'll let you start this one off. Who you picking?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a pretty close game since the Chiefs aren't playing well. I would actually probably take the Bengals if Joe Burrow was playing and the Chiefs were having the exact same season. But I think Mahomes over Brown is gonna be probably the deciding factor. Chiefs defense should be able to at least slow them down, maybe cause a couple of turnovers the same way that Brown had against the Steelers last week. But yeah, I think like I said, if Burrow were playing, I would have been with the Bengals. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs this time.
Mark, who you got?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think 3 points will probably decide these two teams. Last team with the ball get to kick the field goal, and it will be the Chiefs.
Marcus?
Marcus is he's going to pick the Chiefs in honor of Taylor Swift.
First of all, I never thought I'd be saying this, but I don't feel confident in picking the Chiefs, even with Joe Burrow not playing. I'm about to go with the Bengals. I just think the Chiefs are just looking in total disarray. Last week they looked terrible against the Raiders. And here's the thing: the Raiders didn't even they didn't complete a pass after the first quarter, and they still
Yeah,
Still lost
that's
that
embarrassing.
game.
yeah, that's wild to me. Even though I don't think the Bengals defense is as good as the Raiders defense, but right now, until the Ravens show me, until the Chiefs show me different, I just don't have any faith in them. And I going into the season, I never thought I'd say that, especially because I picked them to win Super Bowl again. But I'm picking the Bengals.
Brian.
Marcus, you're gonna wear the hat probably. Predictor has the Chiefs going to 73%. I agree with you, Marcus. I played with picking the Bengals because if Browning could get back to his form like he did the first couple games, I think they're the better team. Unfortunately, I think they definitely have a better wide receiving core right now. But I don't know. I just can't. Yeah, I just can't see the Chiefs going down again. I think the Chiefs get the dub.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I played around with this one too, and if Browning hadn't thrown those 4 picks in the last game, it was still looking like that. I would be picking the Bengals right now, but
Yeah,
I'm totally agreeing with Marcus. The Bengals look. The Chiefs look terrible. I don't even recognize that team at this point. Only reason I'm picking the Chiefs is not. Only reason I'm picking the Chiefs this week is because the Chiefs are at home. That's the only reason I'm picking them. So yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs.
Are you blowing us kisses? What are you doing? Is that a howl?
I'm howling.
It looks like you're blowing a kiss.
Howl to the moon. Howl.
Anybody blowing your kiss to you, but shut up. Bro.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
All right. Next game, we have the 7-0 Saints going into Tampa to take on the 8-7 Bucks. Tampa is a 3-point favorite in this one. And again, this has playoff implications to it because I think the Saints still have a chance to win the division.
Really? I guess I do.
Yeah,
they're only
because the
one
Bucks are
game
leading the division. They're only 1 game back from the Bucks. I'll start this one first. Bucks are playing good football. They're at home. You just don't know what Saints team's going to show up any given week. I'm going with the Bucks. Mark, who you got in this one?
Yeah, this one, contrary to what I thought at the beginning of the season, I thought the Saints would be the one on top of the division, but it looks like it's going to be the Bucks, so I'm taking the Bucks, the Buccaneers.
Brian?
Yeah, the predictor is also going with the Bucks at 52%. I'm with you guys. I think that the Bucks are actually playing pretty decent. Mike Evans I can't really say it's a resurgence because he's been so consistent every year, but him and Baker have something special going on, so I'm going to take the Bucks.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going to also take the Bucks. Like you said, you never know what Saints team is going to show up, and it seems like Derek Carr's getting hurt every game.
Yeah.
So, and the Bucks are on fire right now. Baker Mayfield is looking great.
They actually found a running game too, Marcus.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm going with the Bucks.
And Darian?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with everybody else and go with the Bucks. They're on a 4-game win streak and they're 4-3 at home, so I think they keep it rolling into the playoffs. Get ready for that last 2 weeks and then see wherever they got coming into South Florida or North Florida when they start the wild card round.
All right, so that wraps up our picks for the week. Just to review, everyone was on the Jets, everyone was on the Cowboys, Marcus Lone Wolf the Packers, everyone was on the Ravens, Marcus Lone Wolf the Bengals, and everyone was on the Bucks. I'm sorry.
Mark, you gonna look nice in the hat next week.
I know, and that graduation hat, I'm gonna look real nice.
You should put an underdog parlay on that.
Herman, if he gets them both right, I'm not going to be on the show. I can't.
You feel sick. All right, that pretty much concludes the show. Final thoughts for the show, fellas. Final thoughts.
I just want to say this will be our last show of the year, going into the new year.
Oh, yeah.
I wish y'all a new year, a blessed, happy, health, and prosperous new year. Thanks for watching us. We look forward to seeing you next year.
Marcus? Oh, I thought.
I go last.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Final thought.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming and joining the show. I also want to thank Darian, for joining us. I do apologize in advance for taking the championship from you in our game, but good luck. You know, Herman, your son's disrespectful. He's in my Facebook. And Marcus, whoever is running your team, tell them they're going down too. I know you don't know because you don't play in that league, but
Well, y'all the Keeper League championship?
You're in the championship.
Yeah.
You're in the Keeper League championship too.
Yeah, Marcus is in the championship. He don't know it though.
Marcus with me?
Yeah, you.
Wow.
So whoever took over your team
Yeah,
is now in the championship.
You in the
Right.
championship game.
Brian, don't worry. He ain't got no championships because he ain't going to win it.
Who took over the team?
I don't know.
I think it was one of my.
I thought your
my
brother was doing it.
ex-coworkers' cousins or something like that. No, it was. I gave it off to somebody else. Obviously, somebody who knows how to run the team because
Absolutely. Congratulations to
Well,
Derek.
I've been in championships before too, sir.
You ain't got nothing, dog. That's the difference. You're the
Right.
Buffalo
Now,
Bills.
Tony Dungy, another man, team for the championship.
Right. Somebody took over your team.
Well, you know, I hope they
Darren,
lose. I hope they get blown out.
Darren, you got any final thoughts?
That's crazy. He did.
Yeah. Just thanks for letting me come on, y'all.
But like Mark said, have a happy new year, you guys, and make it safe. And
Brian, your
don't
turn was
drink and
over.
drive.
Darren was speaking now. Okay?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put you on
My
mute.
bad.
You're good.
Darren, what you said?
You're good. Nah,
Go
you're
ahead,
good.
Darren.
Just thanks for letting me come on, y'all. I'll be back with Darian's Corner when I get back to Virginia next week. Brian, I hope every person on your team does not meet their projections, and I will be adding my 5th championship trophy to my arsenal in the last 4 years.
Now, see, that's just greedy, okay? That's just ridiculous, okay? To be that young and have that many is ridiculous, okay?
Hey, I will say this though. You know, you're the only other platinum owner in Maryland Ballers besides me and my dad.
Oh, for real? And I just got it. I just got it. So.
I was platinum, sir. I was platinum.
Were you
before
not?
that.
Were you or are you? Were you platinum or are you?
Were you or are you?
I was before I left, sir.
He's not an owner no more, so he don't
but I'm
count.
not 25 anymore.
All right. I just want to thank everybody for watching, everybody that supports us. Another year gone by. We appreciate all the support, not just only you when watching us, but in the group and everything in Facebook too. Everybody, the discussions makes it lively. So everybody have a happy new year and much prosperity moving into the new year. And Marcus, I'll throw it to you for your final thought and you can close out the show.
I just want to wish everybody happy new year, and everybody, all these long-winded dudes in the panel, they guys almost a half an hour over. We all wish you a happy new year, and we'll see you next year.
That's
Next year we can try to cut down on the long-windedness.
No,
Next year we're
Make
just
it a
gonna
2-hour show.
We're just gonna make this right. We're just gonna embrace it and make the show out on half.
Before we get out of here, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. You catch us on our Facebook group, Delay a Game. Catch us on Twitter/X at Delay a Game 3, on Instagram at the official Delay a Game. We will see you next year. Same bat time, same bat channel. Please be safe celebrating New Year's Eve. Peace. We out.
Happy New Year!
It's just Twitter. It's just Twitter.
Just